Imagine a young rapper so charismatic and magnetic that not only is he currently the #1 rapper in the world, but his hold on the youth is described as cult-like.
Hours after NBA Youngboy's sold-out show Sunday, video shows a chaotic scene unfold on Bourbon Street. Project NOLA cameras captured droves of fans racing towards the Baton Rouge rapper, then surrounding him. Moments later, around a dozen NOPD officers rush towards the crowd, lock arms with Youngboy, and pull him away and into a vehicle.
And it's not just fans of his music that are completely under his spell, but even the people around him seem to be willing to do anything to demonstrate their love for him. From other grown men that happen to be rappers with his face tatted on their bodies.
How you gonna say, nah, I got a tattoo of him on me because I love him. And you can say what you want to, but just in Louisiana, when we love somebody, we appreciate them while they're alive. And we get their faces as monumental, you know what I'm saying? He is young, and I saw a lot of myself in him. And you know, I was like, yeah, I love him, come here, put him under my wing. Yeah.
To men saying they will tie his shoelaces if they come undone.
If his shoe come tied, bro, see if I'ma tie that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make this be how the f it's supposed to be.
That's real.
Man, for him, give $1 million. He ain't gotta be able to open up doors, close them. If it start raining, before he got an umbrella, man, if it start raining, the umbrella shoot my whole lip. You know what I'm saying? Man, like, you can't be too gangster, too hard to understand, man, bro. At the end of the day, bro, you gotta protect the brand, bro.
To the most heinous of all, men that are willing to allegedly take a life under his direction if so ordered. And his hold and influence over women seems to be just as strong. One of his baby mothers, Ayanna Mayweather, better known as Yaya, who is the daughter of boxing champion Floyd Mayweather, almost lost her freedom when she stabbed LaPatra Jacobs, one of NBA Youngboy's many baby mothers, in a fit of jealousy over the rapper. And at 26 years old, he has 10 baby mamas and 12 children, and a 13th child on the way as his wife Jaslyn is currently pregnant. On the other end of the spectrum is NLE Choppa, who recently called out NBA Youngboy through a series of diss songs accusing the artist of poisoning the youth through his music. Even NBA Youngboy knows his music is bad for the youth.
Spoke about, look at the shit I put in these people's ears. Man, I feel very wrong about a lot of things. How many lives I actually am responsible for when it comes to my music. How many kids and people have gotten in the car or put this shit in their ears and actually went hurt someone. And now I'm sitting back like, damn, I can't do it all in one day, but I promise to clean whatever I can clean. But it's gonna take time.
Man, this shit very demanding. This whole industry, this whole system, all this shit demanding. It's very, all this shit ran off of money. All this shit do not mean nothing, and it's very demanding. This whole music industry is very demanding. As I saw the crosses in the Jesus piece, I just grabbed it. It really don't mean nothing. And as I say, this shit demanding. I'm very demanding. Man, there's a lot of devils that's coming in and out my door. So I'm a child of God. You see my Jesus piece, you see my crosses. So as I tell you, this shit very demonic and scary around here. I'm talking about the shit that's coming in and out my doors, what I'm trying to protect myself from.
So even though I agree and NBA Youngboy agrees his music and the industry that he aligns himself with is demonic, the argument can be made about NLE Choppa's music. Inspired by the very man that today he is in direct opposition to, we met him toting guns and rapping about violence, sex, and substance abuse, the same as any other rapper. But what sets the father of two with 2 baby mamas apart from the rest is that the many rebrands that he has gone through as an artist. Whether it's just the natural coming of age that we are all witnessing as NLE was maturing from a boy to a man, or the demands of his record label to keep reinventing himself as an artist in order to grow his fan base and keep his current fan base invested. We watched NLE go from a diet NBA Youngboy as his flow and style when he first came out was so similar that he often drew comparisons as just being a light carbon copy of YB. At some point, this image wore thin, and NLE Choppa went into a new era where he denounced the violence he perpetuated in his music, and he vowed to rap about positivity, mental health, and wellness, leaving his fan base confused about this new era of NLE. And when it was time to release the album that was a culmination of his newfound enlightenment, it did not translate into record sales. Hence the new era and rebrand that was all about sex, because we already know sex sells. His lead single to roll out his new rebrand or era was Slut Me Out, an extremely hypersexual song and accompanying video, where the enlightened positive NLE was literally dog walking women, and I use women very loosely when referring to fellow rappers Sexy Red and Sukihana. And as disgusted as I am with him doing this, I am equally as disgusted with these two bird brains for getting on the ground and allowing themselves to be portrayed in this manner. And of course, coming from someone who was preaching morality one day and doing this the next, he caught a whole lot of backlash. But NLE took it all in stride, kept dancing to his own rhythm, and introduced yet another new era where people felt that he was queerbaiting. In this new era, NLE spoke openly about wanting to be accepted into LGBTQ+ spaces, even though, according to him, he identifies as being heterosexual. And even though hip-hop has been known to be notoriously homophobic, the sentiment seemed nice that a rapper was openly courting this community.
Are you an ally?
I think that's what they said I was. But I mean, I was just showing love, but if that's what that means, yeah, I'm an ally now. Oh. You know, I feel like you're supposed to approach everything in life with love. You know, no matter if you live the same way or you don't. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I look at it. I'm a free thinker, man. Like, you do what you do, it's cool, man. I support you with whatever you do. You feel me? Because I know how I feel to not be supported when you just doing what you feel is best for you. You feel me? So, yeah, man, I'm an ally to anybody that goes through an acceptance thing, an acceptance barrier. I hate that. It's just like racism to me.
But again, from the outside looking in, the LGBTQ+ community didn't appear to be impressed at all by his public declarations and wrote his attempts off as pandering, queerbaiting, and reeking of desperation.
So NLE Choppa has always been in the gay public eye. From what I've seen, a lot of gay black men find him attractive. He's tatted up, he's slim, he's light-skinned. You know, that always plays a factor. But he was always very adamant on, I'm straight. No disrespect to the LGBT community. I am not gay. I'm not bisexual. I'm not involved in any sort of matter. But when he released that song I was just talking about called Slut Me Out 2, where it was a lot more flamboyant and playful, basically saying, if I was a girl, I'd love to get with me. I'd do the freakiest things you could imagine to me. A lot of gay men resonated with that because if I was a bad bitch, I want to, you know, it's just the vibe, the energy. So from that point on, a lot more gay eyes have been on him. And he's currently been leaning into it. If you did not know, NLE Choppa is one of the performers that sells sex appeal with his raps. A lot of his raps do lean on sexuality and him scoring the baddest bees in town. So when he performs, he is usually shirtless, showing off his tats, you know, jumping up and down, doing hip thrusts. But he was recently hired to perform at Atlanta Black Gay Pride. Nico, and there was a lot of pushback for the sole fact that when he went on that stage, he was covered from head to toe in jeans and a turtleneck.
If you're a person that has something to say about me these last 6 months, regarding if I'm gay or if I'm a F-bomb or if I'm this or if I'm that, well, this might make you a little bit more mad or make you more infatuated with trying to come to a conclusion of who I am. When I tell y'all every day who I is. But because I know who I am so deeply and so appreciative of who I am, I will be doing my justice by, you know, coming to Atlanta for Black Pride Fest and showing love to the LGBTQ community for being one of the best of the audiences that's been streaming Slut Me Out too. So same way that they pouring love into me is the same way I'm giving back love. And yeah, I'm gonna let y'all judge me again and say what y'all wanna say about me, because y'all gonna say what y'all gonna say regardless.
And it was a stark contrast from how he usually performs, but now he's in a gay audience. So now he's being very humble and reserved and clothed. And a lot of people had pushback on that. And I'm not one of those people that's going to come out here and say, you have to be shirtless, you have to be showing, you have to be selling sex appeal, because at any point, someone can choose to cover themselves. I'm not going to be one of those people that says you have to do this, but it is a stark contrast from every other performance he's done. Now that he's actually in a gay space, he is fully clothed, because to my knowledge, every performance, this boy is shirtless. So it is a like, okay, noted. But NLE Choppa has begun to heavily lean on queer baiting, because as of late, he made a tweet saying, I'm coming out. And it was him in a very nice turtleneck. I'm not gonna lie, cute pictures. But from the past few days after performing at Atlanta Black Gay Pride, he's been releasing more photos that are sexually charged with a homoerotic lens. And after that tweet, that was the most engagement he has gotten in years on Twitter. And I say that because I scrolled up and down through his Twitter feed. Most of his selfies, 10K. Most of his videos, 11K, 12K. This I'm coming out tweet got 120,000 likes and engagements. That is money. That is promotion. That is media attention. So from there, he waited 19 hours as people contemplated him coming out in his full aesthetic. You know, people were saying, oh, he's a butch queen now. He's coming out as a true LGBT member. And a lot of people were trying to clear up. He's using this aesthetic for numbers. He's using this aesthetic for numbers. He is not a butch queen. And then he dropped the tweet that said, I'm coming out with a new project, Black Duck Boots, and something else. I genuinely forgot the last part, just because I don't care that much. Point is, he basically said, no, I'm just coming out with new products and brands and, you know, more money for me. This is a promotional thing. Why are y'all talking about I'm gay? And people are livid. And I understand, because you're not going to send out I'm coming out in the most gay pictures you can find, and then 19 hours later saying, oh, I'm coming out with merch. Y'all just didn't let me finish. So I completely see it. And at this point, if you're not acknowledging that he's using our community to get more mainstream visibility and or money, you're being willfully ignorant.
And I agree wholeheartedly. He was hoping that appealing to the gay community would catapult him to the next level, and it didn't. It backfired royally, because people began to see it for what it was, a grift. And I'm personally not saying you have to be a part of the community to be an ally. Straight women go out of their way to appease the community because they know that it's a strong and loyal fan base, and no one expects a straight woman to be anything than what she identifies as, to be considered an ally to the community. Now, in the case of NLE, he labels this time in his life a humiliation ritual, literally. And he knows full well what he's doing by using the phrase, I'm coming out, and allowing the community, even for a brief moment, to believe that he was coming out of the closet. It's manipulative, and it's a tactic that he and his team have deployed a lot in his career. You'll see it in this video as a reoccurring theme. He uploaded a video to his personal YouTube account, NLE Choppa, and titled the video, I did a humiliation ritual and I passed. I will link the entire video in the description box, and let me tell you, he is all over the place. I had to watch this a few times to understand what he's trying to convey. He contradicts himself a lot. He then has moments of clarity, and then he descends back into confusion. He claims that God told him to do this, and he never specifies what God, because we have to understand that God is not a name, it's a title, and we don't know what God he is referring to. And I know that Jesus would not have him rap about the subject matter that he does, nor would he encourage him to take off his clothes and take these type of provocative photos. And my stance would be the same if a woman said that God told her to write Slut Me Out songs and she claimed God put her up to this. I would tell her, you might want to stop lying on God unless it's the God of this world or the underworld that you're referring to, but the Most High would never.
The I'm coming out comment was me coming out with a song. But spiritually, it was me coming out of my shell, out of my cocoon, and blossoming into the butterfly that God has been molding since I had my first spiritual awakening 3 years ago. I did a paper magazine shoot at the cupcake around the midsection. God, should I do this? I told you be fearless, right? What? Now put that out. I told you be fearless, right? I told you it makes sense later, right? I did it. Posted those pictures with I'm coming out. The same day it dropped. I said, what?
We said what too. We did. We were wondering what was going on with you.
He said, say it. I said, man, there's no way in hell. Say it. I'm coming out. Posted it. Boom. Broke the internet. I was closer to God than I ever was in my life. Still is. I am now. That happened, and I'm having a lot of success with, or what? A lot of success with SMO2, SMO3, and all of these songs was made spiritually for confidence, spiritually for fun, spiritually for happiness and smiles, glitters, glam, glow, gold.
And these are the Negro spirituals that God called him to write for the people. So even though he doesn't say this outright, he takes you all around the mulberry bush with his word salads, but essentially he says in this video that all year in the year 2024, he experiences a lot of deaths in his family. Please catch what I'm putting down. Then he says God told him to be fearless and make sexually explicit songs and videos and go pander to the gay community, and he does it. As a result, he gets called all kind of homophobic slurs and he feels disrespected, and he failed to win over the gay community. So he's out there alone looking like a joke. And when the video first starts, he's explaining why he's upset that he wasn't mentioned in some complex list of hottest rappers that year.
I've passed my humiliation ritual. With all honors, with flying colors. But the only difference between my humiliation ritual and a lot of others is I was walking with God the whole time. Being deeply rooted in prayer, deeply in search of answers, and deeply rooted and grounded in the palms of his hands through the process of this whole humiliation ritual. I was at a point of a breaking point. I was holding a lot of emotions in. I was holding a lot of anger in.
Whoever made that complex list, I just want to let you know something, man. Your ass need to go do rock and roll or some other shit. I swear to God, 21, 18 platinum, 6 or 7 gold. Go look at the certifications. Let me know who beat me, bruh.
Because it gets serious. It gets extremely serious. It gets extremely deep. Because I'm passionate in what I do. I'm deeply rooted in prayer. And I view myself as God's chosen champion. So when I'm not treated as such or honored as such, I was going through a phase to where it really bothered me.
So he's sharing these long-winded stories to say, I did all the rituals, I didn't win the accolades and the acknowledgments from the industry, but I'm all right because God is still with NLE, he never left me, while simultaneously believing that it was God that took him through these humiliation rituals in the first place. And it's perplexing that he comes to that conclusion that the one true God would ever seek out to humiliate you. Yes, he tests us to make us stronger, but not to embarrass us, which is why he has to be talking about the devil. The devil is the only one that has the celebrities participating in humiliation rituals, all while dangling money and prestige over their heads. And he sounds disgruntled throughout the whole video, like I did everything you asked me, but I'm still not the top guy. So NLE takes a step back and regroups and reemerges on Halloween with a diss track aimed at NBA Youngboy called KO. And the visuals to this track leave the audience confused, as this is one of the oddest diss videos ever to be seen in hip-hop. There's costume changes, full-on choreography, elaborate set designs, and NBA Youngboy lookalike who he attacks throughout the video. This is a full-on production, and it caused many people to wonder what made NLE come at NBA Youngboy seemingly out of the blue like this. The answer to that question can be found in an article that he did with Rolling Stone magazine, published on November 3rd. In the article, he reveals yet another new era and a name change from NLE Choppa to NLE the Great, and he describes a vivid dream that he had about his musical rival YB. The dream was me holding a young boy's head in my hand, and I was bringing the head to my father in the dream, my dad, he recalled. And when I woke up from my sleep, I wanted to pray about the dream, and I started to seek what the dream meant. And going into that space of prayer, I knew it was time. Choppa said he was initially confused because he believes that dreams are one of the ways God communicates with him. However, the gruesome nature of the dream left him questioning its source. So when I first got the dream, I thought it was like a dream from not the Most High. I thought it was a nightmare or something because it was so gruesome in the dream. He said it was like flesh hanging off the skull, mosquitoes and gnats, and biting at its flesh as it was deteriorating. And it was very vivid, and it was so vivid I can remember the smell and the dream. After waking up, Choppa said he immediately prayed for clarity. So when I woke up, I went into prayer about what it was, Choppa continued. I didn't know what to interpret at first, so I tried not to lean on my own understanding. Within prayer, I got the words and the things I needed to hear. After that, it was just execution. I never wanted to feel like my devotion is questioned, so the steps were ordered and I did them. Okay, so let's break this down. So when he says that God communicates with him through his dreams, I can relate to that. I feel like God communicates with me in my dreams as well. But after I feel like he communicates with me, I'm never confused about where my dreams come from. I know when God is trying to show me something. I know when it's not of God and it comes from the pits of hell and I have to rebuke it. And I know when it's just my brain trying to make sense of things and sort out fragments that I thought about or saw while I was awake. And I believe this knowing comes with time, having a relationship with God and experience. I have to keep in mind, and please keep this in mind as well as this video plays out, NLE is only 23 years old, so he is very young literally and spiritually. But from a secular perspective, this is how they interpret dreams.
Have you ever woken up from a dream and wondered what it all meant? The question of whether exploring dreams can reveal hidden fears or desires is fascinating. Let's break it down. Dreams are often reflections of our unconscious mind. They can show us aspects of ourselves that we might not fully recognize while we are awake. According to psychoanalytic theories, dreams serve as a window into this hidden part of our psyche. Sigmund Freud, a key figure in psychology, described dreams as the royal road to the unconscious. He believed that dreams express repressed wishes and fears that our conscious mind may try to ignore. By interpreting the symbols and stories in our dreams, we can uncover these hidden feelings. Carl Jung, another influential psychologist, also emphasized the importance of dreams. He viewed them as spontaneous self-portraits of our unconscious states. Jung believed that dreams use symbolic imagery to communicate messages that we might overlook in our daily lives. By integrating these unconscious elements into our awareness, we can promote personal growth and self-awareness. Modern psychology supports the idea that dreams help us process emotions. For instance, nightmares can confront intense fears or unresolved emotional stress. Therapists often use dream analysis to help individuals understand their subconscious fears and desires. This approach can lead to breakthroughs by bringing hidden conflicts into our conscious awareness, allowing for healing and personal development.
So from a secular perspective, dreams are a manifestation of a person's hidden desires. So could it be that NLE secretly desires to do this to YB all along? After all, 3 years ago, NBA Youngboy dissed NLE in a song, Know Like I Know. The reason behind the diss is that YB felt that NLE was inserting himself in the beef that he had with Chicago rappers King Von and Lil Durk, as NLE would build a friendship with the late King Von and take his side in their battle, which that whole conflict is a separate video within itself. So I wish NLE would have just said that he felt disrespected when YB dissed him and he never responded until now for whatever reason. Yes, it was 3 years ago, but I personally don't believe that there's an expiration date or a time limit to respond to someone dissing you. It's hip hop. You can come right back or take your time or never respond. Now, from a spiritual perspective, maybe God did show NLE that he would take YB's head, metaphorically speaking, not literally, of course. Maybe he was just showing him one day he would take out YB symbolically. And if God really showed him that, then he should have protected that dream and told no one and just allowed things to play out. I feel like him bringing God into this is a form of religious manipulation. It's like when a person comes up to you in church or wherever and they say, God told me to tell you XYZ, or God showed me XYZ about you. And they do this for one of two reasons. Number one, they claim to be sent by God to force you to listen. If that person says, I want to tell you, you probably would have cut them off or not even listened to what's being spoken over you. Secondly, people use this tactic to get you into agreement with something that may not be true and may not even come from God. It's just something that they've been wanting to say and they hide behind God. But you'll know it's from God because it will be confirmation from something God has already revealed to you, or you will know by that person's reputation or their fruit. Because not everyone claiming to speak for God really heard from God. So always go to God in these situations. And just like the gay community was able to clock that NLE was using certain buzzwords to align himself with their community to gain support, he's doing the same thing with the Christian community. The visuals and the lyrics for the diss tracks are blasphemous. He speaks the name of Yahweh in one verse and is cursing in the next. In the visuals, he's posting Bible verses while depicting violence against YB and trying to convince us that this is some religious crusade between good versus evil, and it's all evil. And the usage of scriptures in these series of diss videos is very disturbing to me, as NLE isn't even a Christian and he has said so on more than one occasion.
One of the things I have a problem with, and it may be controversial, a lot of people may say this and may say that, I don't like, let me say it in a manner to where it's extremely intelligent. In Christianity, it's a thing where people praise the Son more than they praise the Father. And that's what I don't like.
Okay.
Because if we are man made in a likeness, Jesus is our brother. You get what I'm saying? Why would I drop down and praise my brother instead of praising my father? And that goes back to honoring your parents.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I need your help on this. You weren't raised in church, were you?
My grandmother on my dad's side took my pops to church 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes 2 times a day.
What about you?
I'm a product of that.
Okay.
That veered my father away from church.
Wow.
I wasn't in church every day and all this.
Good,
every
good.
Sunday. I was not. I can't say.
Which is
but
good.
I still receive what he felt. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a generational thing.
Yes,
that gets
yes,
passed
sir.
down.
Yes, sir.
So whether I feel it the way he felt it or not, I still feel it secondhand. You feel me?
Well, let me tell you why I said that. It's because I appreciate and love when people did not have to be forced to go to church and have stuff thrown down their throats, because it gives them a different way to paint their picture of the journey.
I get what you're saying. But going to church isn't the solution, man.
I've always gravitated towards the Muslim culture, just off the simple fact of how disciplined they are and how together they are. You come out here to the Middle East. The Middle East, Dubai as a whole, is not a failed society. People are extremely disciplined here. They're God-fearing. It's a beautiful thing to see, because back home, I feel like religion is supposed to do something to build discipline, to build order, to build structure. I feel like back home it's kind of failed. You know what I'm saying? You come out here to Dubai, I'm inspired because I see all of these people. They're not African-American descent, but they're brown people. They're melanated beings. And I see how together they are and how they can come and pray right here and do these things for the community. Bro, it's beautiful. And it inspires me to want to go back home and be like, yo, like, what are we doing? Where's the unity? Where's the brotherhood? Where's the sisterhood? Because it's not here. Everybody, it's not back home. But here it's togetherness.
So if he identifies spiritually with Islam, why isn't he quoting ayah from the Quran instead of scriptures from the Bible? I have my theories as to why, but I'm not sure how deep we can go on this platform, so I'll leave that open-ended, and you can tell me why you think he would use biblical scriptures to back up his stance on dissing Youngboy. And the conversation that he had with gospel singer Kurt Franklin ruffled a lot of feathers. And I heard someone say, oh, he apologized for saying that about Jesus. He's a believer. This was the apology that he made. Where does he say that he's a believer? I'll read it. He posted on his Twitter account, "There is power in the name of Jesus. I apologize deeply for the past misunderstanding in regards to my statement referring to the Lord. The Most High God wasn't finished with me and I spoke out of turn in the moment." I don't know, he seemed pretty passionate and solid in his convictions to me, but let's move on. I want to talk briefly about the visuals from the videos. So the KO video opens with NLE wearing a hood, and it says that the video is directed by the Most High, and he co-directed the video, and the choreography is done by Bryson Potts, which is NLE's government name, and Travis Payne. So if we refer back to the Rolling Stone article, to the part where he talks about the dream that he had, he says, "When I woke up and I went into prayer about what it was, and I didn't know what to interpret it at first. So I tried not to lean on my own understanding. Within prayer, I got the words and the things I needed to hear." And that part is biblical. He is referencing Proverbs 3 verses 5, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." NLE goes on to say in that article, "Within prayer, I got the words and the things I needed to hear. And after that, it was just execution. I never want to feel like my devotion is questioned, so the steps were ordered and I did them." The verse goes on to say, "In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path." So listing the Most High as the director of the video is falling in line with scripture. But that's only if the dream came from the Most High God in the first place. "Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, said the Lord, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies, and by their likeness, yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, said the Lord." Jeremiah 23 verse 32. The violent nature of this video alone leads me to believe that this is not of God. Matthew 26 verse 52 states, "Put your sword back in its place." Jesus said to him, "For all who draw the sword will die by the sword." And to further expound upon that verse, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King also stated in a speech that he made, "Hate begets hate, violence begets violence, toughness begets a greater toughness. We must meet the forces of hate with the power of love." Even in NLE's third video, Hello Revenge, he flashes Exodus 14:14 that states, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." So why isn't he sitting down somewhere and being still? And while we're at it, what does the word say about seeking revenge? "Do not avenge yourselves, beloved, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord." Romans 12 verse 19.
Have you read the Bible?
I read the Bible. I listen to the Bible. I receive from source straight.
I would say read it again.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Jonathan Majors. I would say read it again and again and again and again, and not just to say that you read it, but for understanding. Because if your reasoning, as you say, for going after NBA Youngboy is for the violence that he perpetuates to the youth, why would God have you go after him by perpetuating that same violence? That doesn't make sense. "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace." 1 Corinthians 14 verse 33. Okay, so let's cover some of the visuals from the diss videos. So he reveals his freshly shaven head and a death row chain, and that lets us know that he is portraying the late rapper Tupac. Tupac has been one of his biggest musical inspirations, as he has paid homage to him in other videos before, and he also said that Tupac and Michael Jackson were both dream musical collaborations. Speaking of Michael Jackson, we also see his influence as he dresses and dances like him all throughout the video. He also pays tributes to boxers Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. According to the Rolling Stones article, he featured all of these people in the video because they represent greatness to him, and with that name change, he wanted to align himself with greatness. Sounds innocent enough until he is quoted as saying that he channeled each celebrity that was featured in the video. Now, some of you might think he just means he's impersonating these people, but I've learned to take these entertainers at their word when they talk like this, so when he says that he channeled each celebrity, I believe him. On the set of the video shoot, he was given a pair of Michael Jackson's loafers, and shockingly, the shoes don't fit. NLE's boats were too big, so he was told to take the shoes and feel and receive the energy from them. Do whatever you want with that information. So we have channeling, energy harvesting, and 2 of the 3 disc records are performed on a Masonic checkerboard.
The checkered floor, alternating black and white squares, dates back thousands of years, long before modern masonry. You see patterns just like it in ancient Egypt, in early Greek temples, and in sacred spaces all around the world. Why? Because the ancients understood something. Life itself is a pattern of opposites, light and darkness, joy and sadness, success and failure, strength and weakness. Every one of us walks across these alternating experiences every single day. The Masons used the checkered floor as a reminder that you cannot have growth without contrast. The dark squares teach humility. The light squares teach gratitude. Together, they show that every step, good or bad, is essential to becoming who you're meant to be. But the symbolism doesn't stop there. The floor represents the battlefield of the human mind, the choices you face, the temptations you resist, and the decisions that shape your destiny. On this floor, every tile is a moment of free will. You choose where you stand. You choose your next move. You choose the direction of your life. This is why, in Masonic teachings, the checkered floor sits beneath the initiate's feet. It is the foundation, the starting point, a reminder that mastery begins with awareness of your own inner polarity. You're not meant to avoid the dark tiles. You're meant to walk through them with intention, just as you celebrate the light ones with wisdom. The message is simple. Duality is not your enemy. It's your teacher. When life feels chaotic, when challenges hit you from every direction, remember the checkered floor. Remember that every light and dark square is part of your personal initiation. Every setback is a square on the board. You step on it, learn from it, and keep moving. Every victory is another tile, beautiful, temporary, and a step along the same path. You are not defined by any single square. You are defined by the journey. And the moment you understand this, the moment you embrace both the light and the shadow, you rise above the board entirely. That is the real secret. Wisdom comes from walking the entire floor.
So according to the clip, the floor is supposed to represent dark and light. And we hear that theme throughout the lyrics, but we see nothing but darkness represented in both videos, and bloodshed. First is YB's in the KO video, and then I feel like he's making a mockery of Jesus' crucifixion, as he doesn't believe in Jesus' divinity. He's just a bro to him, and look at the hand gestures. That says it all for me right there. And I don't want to dig any deeper into the meaning of these videos, so we're just going to leave it there. One of the questions posed towards NLE at the end of the Rolling Stones interview clears up all the confusion for me and reveals NLE's true intent. The reporter asked, "Are you worried about things escalating?" His response, "In the past, it's already been escalated. Personally, if I was to speak outside of what I'm ordered to do, personally, we've already had issues, but I can say that these issues have zero reason as to why I made this record. But for some of the things that were said, and we had a conversation earlier about this, it's more so can be viewed as personal. It can be viewed as like, oh yeah, I don't F with you. I don't like you, this, that, whoop. But it's more so speaking to something that's controlling him. It's speaking to what has possession of him, and I love him. I would love to give that brother a hug. I would love to shake hands with that brother. I would love to make music with him personally. But how could I if he won't? But do I have worries about things being personal outside of this? I feel he got bigger fish to fry. I'm just play." So all of this was just a ploy to either get YB to engage in a back and forth with you so y'all could sell records. The millennials had the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, and you wanted to have a little Gen Z battle moment with YB. And why couldn't you just say that instead of being manipulative and making this about God and righteousness? Because I thought you said this was a spiritual battle. I thought this was about good versus evil. I thought YB's very aura sickens you. They will have you fooled into thinking that they have values and morals and standards and that they stand for something good. And this is why I have to say we have to use discernment when it comes to these artists, because they lie. He's very demonic, but your opinion of him will change if he's willing to do a song with you. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm defending YB. I'm not. He is demonic. He owns it and consistently admits to who he is and who he serves. No one can say that they were tricked by this man whatsoever. I mean, this YouTuber attended a show from YB's most recent tour, and this is how he described the experience.
And then if you was at the tour, if you was at that concert, there were certain times, I'm gonna be real. There were certain times when I was at that concert and like he had these lights. It was like all red. And then the stage was just going up in flames and shit. Like, your ass really felt like you was in hell. I'm gonna be real, chat. I'm gonna be 100% honest. You know what I mean? I'm not saying YB is the devil, but music is, music can be evil. Music is a lot about energy, and the music is, it can be very spiritual, in a sense, and it can really take a hold of one, if it's used in the wrong ways. Like I said, especially with the youth is easily impressionable, and especially when you just drilling that shit into your brain all day, every day. You wake up listening to, first thing you listening to is a nigga talking about the Drake and the Switch, like that shit going, you know what I mean? Could do something to you, so like I said, I feel like he really think YB the one, and he really trying to speak out against that shit and just denounce that.
Now this is the show opener from NBA Youngboy's tour that was uploaded from a concert goer. This isn't my footage, but remember how Don Hollywood described how it felt being in that venue. He said it feels like being in hell, and there were children at these shows, including the rapper's own children who joined him on stage at times. These kids were in the crowd crying, on their knees praising him. It went viral because his fans are really some interesting people, and he has fans of all ages, young and old. And then people will say, oh well, NLE is just denouncing the evil, but how can he denounce the very same thing that he does? I feel like because NLE is very goofy and playful with it, they think his messaging is harmless. It's just as evil, it's just as demonic, it's just as dark. As far as I know, NBA Youngboy still hasn't responded publicly to NLE's 3 diss songs and the billboard that he has placed in YB's old neighborhood. YB has dropped 2 songs since NLE's 3, and they are probably filled with subliminals, but he hasn't said NLE's names, which is a good thing. I hope he stays silent on his end. But just like NLE is free to take his time responding to YB is free to do the same. I just pray it stays on wax. YouTuber Trap LaRoche dropped a video that alleges that YB may be responsible for 19 people no longer walking this earth. And I watched it. I don't know if it's 100% true, but what I do know is that the majority of the victims underestimated YB and the people that he surrounds himself with. They thought that he was just a studio gangster, and that was a grave miscalculation. One that I hope NLE hasn't made and already set into motion. One thing I've learned about NLE is he has a thirst for knowledge, and it has caused him to dibble and dabble in some of everything. He's into New Age religion, Eastern religion, Western religion, and he seems to be putting all these things into practice. What he doesn't seem to understand is that he's opening spiritual doors that he hasn't closed, and now he doesn't know God's voice when he hears it. Spoken often about having bouts of depression that are likely spiritual attacks. Just 11 months ago, he said this about diss records.
I was honestly trying to figure out how to handle emotion. I don't even diss people. Y'all know me, like I tend to stay away from diss songs just simply because I'm not a person that wants my business public anyway when it comes to anything regarding to street activities. I look at it that way because if something happened to someone, I'm responsible rather not even if I probably did it or not. I'm still held accountable or still looked at as a suspect. So I try to tend to stay away from just anything that has to do with that.
And now he's out here dissing. The voice of God told him to slut himself out to the industry and influence the youth to do the same, only to come to the realization that it was a humiliation ritual because he was ridiculed and not rewarded. And the same voice of God instructed him to go after NBA Youngboy for being demonic while putting out the same demonic energy in the name of righteousness. And this video isn't to pick on NLE, but he's confused. And he's what we would describe as double-minded because he serves two masters. And I fear that he has allowed these voices to bait him into yet another humiliation ritual. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1 verse 8. And if you got this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you think this video could be helpful to anyone, please hit that hype button. Thank you so much for watching.